everyone, it's Rachel with Rachel's Super Cute Creations, and I am here today to try out my new lighting system. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and we're just going to play with some scraps. So excuse the noise, I'm just adjusting my light. I'm hoping that it's much brighter for all of you compared to my other videos. I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to make my videos much better. So please say hello if you're in today. I'm sure there will not be a ton of people in here because it is Christmas Day and you're probably spending some time with your family. All of my family has left, so I decided to try out my new light and just do some scraps because my scrap box is completely out of control. Hi, Tanya. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Merry Christmas. So, I have some scrap papers and things that need to be used up. These are okay for collage, but like this is not something I would use. So this is something I can collage over. So I'm kind of just sorting right now to see what I can do to collage over first. This is nice, but I don't really do anything holiday themed. It's Boxing Day there. Yes, it is. Well, it's Christmas Day here. And so I just got this amazing new light, which I think is going to be wonderful. It looks like it's already much brighter for you guys. It's almost 10 p.m. here, and it's very dark. So I'm excited about that. So here's another collage piece. It has very nice manila paper on the back. Excuse me. So I'm just kind of flipping through here quickly, and then we're going to start just pulling some paper, doing some collaging. If you've kind of been watching my Use Up My Scraps series, you know that I've been just really trying to use these up, and they just keep, it seems like, multiplying. This box I have is huge. So, and I also have the remnants of a flowish journal. And so I'd like to kind of use that up. This little card that came with it is beautiful, and Tina made this. But sometimes what I do is I'll tear this part off. You can definitely use this to collage on, but this piece is beautiful. And so I keep this piece because this can just simply go into a journal and tuck in. Oh, I apologize. I'm not sure why let me just work on my settings here for a second. Sorry about that. For some reason, we're auto-focusing. So let me just... So anyway, I want to use this up because it has been a while since I've used it. And there's pieces in here, and there's some things that I'm not ever going to use. So hopefully that'll fix that. So whatever I'm not going to use, I want to put in a box for someone else. They're like those are weird. Those are like butterfly stickers. So I'm not really into wildlife. So these are not something I would use. So I'm just going to throw these in my giveaway box. Oh, that little bunny is adorable. But it's really not stuff that I would use. So I'm not going to store it anymore. This Gone Fishing paper is cute if we're doing a mail journal. But once again, it's not really my style. So this I love because these images on here are something I would use in my collage. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tear this because I would use that. These are cute little tags that she gave me. And I'm going to recycle that part of the envelope. Now you absolutely could do something with that. This is a type of paper that's really not my style either, but I would collage over this. So I would call that a collage paper. These little stickers are cute. She gave me some die cuts, which are adorable. So I'm going to pull those out, put those in my embellishment bin right here. And I can recycle this. Now, I absolutely could tear all this stuff off if I wanted to, and I could use this bag. In fact, this might be easy enough to do that. Let's see. Nope, nope, it's been on there too long, so I'm tearing it. Okay, so we're going to put that in the recycling bin. And we're going to just go ahead and we're going to kind of get started. This stuff I'm going to throw in my giveaway bin. And I will collage over this because I like this little envelope, so we'll leave that right there. Okay, and I apologize. I'm not sure why my camera keeps focusing in and out. A lot of these papers are papers that I received in Happy Mail. Sorry, I'm just going into my controls one more time here. Okay. And this is like a very thin blue paper. All right. So what I want to do is I want to do some collaging on here. And then we're going to just kind of go from there. Let me grab a glue stick. All right. So, and I'm going to work on using these papers up that are in this bin. This is really old. It's from when I first started junk journaling. And someone gifted this to me. I didn't have a lot of supplies then. Is the lighting a little too bright, you guys? Let me just see if I can adjust it a little bit. Is that better or worse? Yeah, I think it's going to take me a little bit to get used to this lighting. I used up all of those bins. If you watched my live, I used up all the bin of scraps. So that was great. And I'm just going to collage. So for those of you who have already celebrated Christmas or are celebrating Christmas, what are some things that you want to do in the new year when it comes to junk journaling? I'm so sorry that it is zooming in and out. I don't know what's going on. This is an old sewing machine piece that was tea dyed or coffee stained. I didn't do this. This was another Happy Mail gifting, but look at how cute that is when you add it to the paper. So I'm wondering, what are some things you guys want to do in the new year when it comes to junk journaling or crafting or anything? I have some ideas. I'm actually going to be creating a vision board kit for all of us who want to focus on what it is we're going to do in the new year. So that's something that I'm working on right now. And I will be in the next few days releasing those kits and talking to you about how to create a vision board, how to make sure that you're really focused in this new year when it comes to, so here's a piece was from my overspray, how to really focus your attention so that you're getting the most done that you want to. And remember, what I think is a lot, or what I get done, is totally different than your goals. So, don't measure yourself by others. And I hear a lot of ladies that talk about, well, you journal so fast and you craft so fast. And you know what? Don't measure by what I do. A lot of my viewers, talk about that. How do you get so much done? All of us work at a different pace. And so if your goal this year is to, um, you know, build a stash so that you have items when you're ready to do a journal. Or if your goal is, hey, I'm just gonna get a little bit more done than I did last year. You need to quantify that. You need to figure out how you're going to do that. And I think a lot of times, I've struggled with my weight my whole life. And one of the things that I talk about a lot each year is, okay, I'm going to lose weight. Well, you know what? On my goals this year is not to lose weight. On my goals this year is to look at my health. And, I'm not going to quantify it with a number. I'm going to just focus on getting healthy because that is what is important. So I want you to think about that as you're starting to think about what are your New Year's resolutions as a crafter, as an artist, as a person. What are your goals, and how are you going to go about achieving those goals? So Tanya says she wants to get a few things built up so they're ready when I make one. Not decorate it, but make the bases of things up. Okay, so Tanya, this is exactly what I'm doing right now. And I do this a lot is I just make bases. I just make things. So when I'm ready to embellish. So for example, here are note cards that I've done the same thing to. And I keep these very, very basic colors because you can then ink around them. You can add embellishments. I can simply even take store-bought embellishments and add it to, let me get something that's a little more neutral. Here we go. I can just come in and I can just grab this as I'm working on a journal, and I can just add this and a little bit of fabric, and I'm done. So that's why I make these bases. And I know you guys are probably getting bored with me, doing all this collaging online. And, Rachel, this isn't rocket science. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. But you need to build yourself a stash so that when you're ready to create, you can do it. I work full time, you guys. Every day, I work a full time job, anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week, depending on the week. A very high stress job. And I create 3 to 4 times a week. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. We also own, I own a small business. I own an Etsy shop. I do all that stuff. And people always ask me all the time, how do you do all that stuff? When do you find time? Well, you find time by making time, by scheduling the time, by having goals, by ensuring that you're meeting those goals. And for me, it's creating 3 to 4 times per week. That's my goal. And if I don't prioritize and do things, I do them in small snippets. I don't sit down and spend a whole day. Sometimes I do, or not a whole day, but sometimes I'm able to spend longer. And that's great. But a lot of times I come into my office, I actually have 2 spaces. I'm lucky enough to have 2 spaces. But I will come in right, and I've set it up right off of my living room and dining room, and I will come in and I will spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever I have time for. And that's how I get things done. And I feel like as long as I've come in and I've created something, even if it's just these little bases, I've completed something for the day. So, think about that. Think about having your time. And then if I wanted to sit down and do a journal, I could do that because I've now got all my embellishments. I'm not making embellishments and making pages and making journals and. Okay. So we're going to kind of just let this dry. I'm going to cut these into tags, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. So I hope that that's helpful. I know a lot of my subscribers, they ask me all the time, like, how do you do that? The other thing is I travel. So my daughter is, she plays quite a few sports, and she's a travel, she plays on travel teams. So pretty soon we're going to start our travel season again in January. And so I have small bags packed all the time. I take stuff with me every place we go. If I'm in the car, I'm crafting. If I'm, if I'm waiting in between games when she's playing, I will craft. So, think about all that time. If you work, okay, and you get a lunch break, you get an hour lunch break, or you get 30-minute lunch break, whatever it is, um, take a little baggie of stuff. I'll show you. So I kind of organize like this. So I have page protectors, and I use one of these rings. So this is what I would take in the car: pair of scissors and a glue stick. Okay, this is my traveling bag. And what's in here, it needs to be organized, because this is where, so here's embellishments. Here's tags. So I'll show you this right here. So here's templates right here of the size tags and banners that I make. Okay, here's my templates. So those just stay in here. And if I feel like it, I can so this is all just scrapbook paper. So if I want to just cut tags, I can do that. Here's some pages. There's doilies. This is all stuff ready to make collages and pieces with. Some words, some fussy cutting. A lot of times I just do fussy cutting. That's something you can do on your lunch break. I'm not, my type of job is not, I don't necessarily get a lunch break because of the profession that I'm in. I'm always eating on the run. But those are things that I do. If I go to the doctor's office and I'm sitting in the doctor's office, I can just take this, I'll unhook it in the car, pull out my fussy cutting, slide my scissors in there, and I'll just fussy cut. So if I get 20 of them done or 10 of them done while I'm waiting, because otherwise I get really irritated while I'm waiting for the doctor, and I know that the doctor's just as busy as I am, but it's really frustrating to me if I go in there and, my appointment's at 2 and I don't get in until 3. I feel like, for me, I've wasted time. Now, some of you may enjoy that time in there and you're fine with it. But for me, that's how I get things done. And people are asking me all the time. You have to be prepared. So on Sunday afternoons, when I'm not taping for you guys, that's what I'm doing. I'm preparing things for the week. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And I set goals. I set goals for myself. So I'm not sure if that's helpful for you guys, but I hope it is, because I have been getting quite a few people ask me, how do I do that? And, if I want to be, I need to be more productive. How are you productive? And so I hope that's helpful, because I also watch and read a lot about highly productive people. I'm just wired with a lot of energy. So I think part of that is, just me, but I also plan a lot, do a lot, really think about a lot. Like right now, my studio and my studio is clean. It's my room that I'm working in right now, my filming room, because I run my Etsy store out of here too. And it's a mess, with the holidays and everything else. So my goal, I am on holiday right now. So my goal this week is to clean this all up and have it ready, because I know I've got a couple things going on coming up, and I'm going to be starting this new online class, a Facebook group to do vision boards and talk about inspiring your new year and doing all of that kind of stuff. So I'll be selling those kits, and then I'm going to need to be more organized than I am right now. So you have to plan those things. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful for some of you, because I keep getting the question asked over and over. I'm not a big TV watcher, so I don't watch a lot of TV. So at night, after I've cleaned up dinner and I've done all that stuff, and I do have a husband that's very supportive in what I do. So I'm blessed in that way too. So he helps out a lot, and does a lot of things for me. And I'm at the age where, or my daughter's at the age where she's pretty self-sufficient for the most part. So like when she's working on homework, my husband's watching the news or watching a game, I'll just sit in my office with the door open, which is connected to everybody. And I just work. I do things like this and kind of go from there. So, yeah. So, how do you guys find time to get things done, or does anybody have like a really good plan for this new year and how you're going to get some things done? Would love to hear that. And even if you're watching this on replay, I'd love to hear it in the comments. One of my goals this year, my vision board, is to do a better job responding to all of you. So I apologize if I don't respond, guys. It's not because I don't read your comments. I do read them. But to be honest with you, that's one thing I have to do a better job at is responding back to my subscribers. The other thing that I have for the new year is I really want to try to do a better job having more consistent videos, and have more planned videos. So the other thing I'm going to be doing on holiday is making sure that I have a plan, at least for the month of January, for my videos, so that you guys can have more consistent videos from me. And my other goal for the 2020 is to get to 10,000 subscribers. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, or you know somebody, or you would be willing to share my channel, I would greatly appreciate that, because that's my goal this year, is to just really get to 10,000. I appreciate each and every one of you. There will definitely be more giveaways this year. I don't make money off of my channel. I'm not big time like that. I don't make money off my channel, but so anytime I do giveaways, you guys, it's out of my own pocket, and I don't mind doing that. But supporting my Etsy shop, supporting my Facebook, my Facebook page now, all of those things are so helpful just to get me to the top. But I don't make money off of it, and so I cannot do as many giveaways and things as I'd like to. I'm hoping in the new year I'll get a couple of people, hopefully maybe some companies or some people that want to sponsor some things, some giveaways, so that I can give you all some more giveaways throughout the year. So those are some of my wishes and dreams. And this week I'll be spending time, figuring out how am I going to make that happen for all of you and for myself. So that was a lot of rambling. So did anybody get any cool Christmas gifts this year that you want to share? Any new tools? My big gift was this new lighting system, and I'm loving it because, like I said, normally I'll turn my light off in a minute so you can see the difference. Let me turn this off so you can see the difference. So I'm excited because I definitely, oops, sorry for the, oops. So that's what it would be like without the light. Sorry for the change. And this is what it's like with the light. So I'm excited because I think that is so much brighter for all of you. just wondering, are you guys able to see the difference with my new Christmas present this year? So is anybody up for the challenge with me this year? Anybody ready to just make some things happen? And if you are, what is it that you want to make happen this year? The other thing that I do locally here in town, my town, and in surrounding areas is that I teach paint parties. I'm a traveling painting instructor, and that is so fun. And I don't have a ton of time to do it, so I don't do as many as I'd like. But that's really fun. So the other thing I'm looking into and working on is how can I bring that to all of my subscribers and people who don't live close to me but still want to learn to paint and still want to have those paint kits to do it from home and do it along with me. So kind of working on something there. So looking to get ready for that for those of you that are excited about painting or learning to paint. And as I tell my ladies all the time, is everybody leaves successful. So these paintings are, everybody can be a painter. Hi, Holly. Merry Christmas. Welcome, welcome. I'm just doing some collaging, using up scraps and just chatting. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. And I've been kind of sharing, we're kind of just sharing what our goals are for the new year. So if you have anything, I would love to hear it. We're just chit-chatting a little bit, and everybody's quiet, so most of you just have to hear me. So I apologize ahead of time if I'm boring you absolutely to death. It's not my intention. Is it Petey? Hello, Petey. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right. So I need to cover this little spot up, and then we're going to work with this a little bit. I'll try it with this. Yep, that'll work. Okay. All right. So we've made in 28 minutes, I've done a lot of talking, and but now I want to kind of show you something else here. So these little bitties, I call them little bitties. These I do not put back into my pile. So that's one way to kind of stay organized. So like I consider this piece a bitty. This piece I'll put back in my pile. This one I will not. Because that's another thing that I hear from a lot of people is, I don't know how to organize that. So these pieces, I don't keep those in. If it's a half a sheet of paper or, I pretty much put it in there. All right, so I want to get these off my table for a minute. And we're going to just put them, and I do store everything in Ziploc bags. And I store them in gallon Ziploc bags. Okay, perfect. I'm glad, Petey. Thank you for letting me know. Welcome, welcome. Merry Christmas, everybody. Oh, there's more people coming in. Wonderful, wonderful. Merry Christmas, everybody. So I'm talking a lot about, if you're just jumping on, I'm talking a lot about organizing for the new year, setting goals, those types of things. So I'm loving, if you are just coming in and you want to tell us what are some goals that you have for the new year, I would love to hear them. Okay. And so they end up storing like this. Now, I could separate them out into other things. but I don't. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create a little bit of depth to these ones. So I have a few stencils that are kind of my go-to stencils. So I have these 3 stencils that I use all the time. Now, something I got new, a lot of you have these, I did not have one. I got one of these makeup brushes, and I got it at the Dollar Tree. So if you have a Dollar Tree close to you, I would check it out because they have these here. They're $1 for one. I'm sure you can get packages of them cheaper somewhere, but I wanted to try it. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. So just get these off my desk, make myself a little more room. All right. Okay. Perfect. All right. So the next thing I do is I like to work on something when so I do use my book pages. Oops, this came out. So this is a gutted book. And what I do is I typically will glue 3 together, tear them off, and put them to the side because I do make tags. So I have these. This one is a little thicker than I normally do it because it had some glue problems. So tear that one off. Okay. Now, when I am doing some stenciling, I open up the book. You can do it on this page, but I don't do that because I glue it on the inside. So that's just a little tip for you. Okay. So what I do then is we're just going to take this stencil. Actually, I'm going to use my vintage photo for this. And you take this little makeup brush and you just kind of rub your top of your pad, and you can see, and then just lightly brush over your stencil. The longer you spend in the area on your stencil, the darker it's going to be. Look at that. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to stencil some more. And I'm just going in circles. And there we go. So we've got it stenciled. You can also take this and go along the edge. So the next thing I want to do is make some tags out of this that are going to be base tags. I apologize. I have to get my cutter out. Okay. So I start by just straightening up the edge. Holly, I like it so far. Wonderful. Grateful and thankful is wonderful. Okay, so I want to make these tags 3 inches wide. Straighten this side up. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to measure 3 inches. And then whatever size this one is what it is. So it's a little bit smaller than 3 inches. You can see that. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to straighten the top. Actually, yeah, I am going to straighten the top. If that was on the bottom, if my words were going the other way, I would have just left that rough edge because I don't mind it. But it's going to be at the top. So I don't want the top to be rough. Now, if you don't mind that, leave it. Leave it like it is. Grab my scissors. cut one, flip it over so that they're both even, cut another one. So we've now just created a tag. This is a great one to go in our stash. Let me grab my hole punch real quick here. And I'm going to punch a hole in my tag. Easy peasy. Now, I make enough of these that I don't really have to use the edge. And I don't mind if they're a little bit off. So, and that just speeds up the process. So there we go. So now this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to straighten up this edge. I'm going to make a 3-inch tag. And I'm going to leave this one where it is. I'm going to take them. I just put them on top of each other. Cut one angle. Cut two. Keep them together. And punch. And we have these adorable vintage tags. Now, what can you do with these tags? You can do lots with these tags. Those embellishments that we created last week, and my other craft with me when we were using up scraps, when we were doing the clusters, you know, I can just simply take and add this to my tag. And if I really want to get fancy, you know, I can just add it to my tag. And isn't that beautiful? So that's what I do with these. So I keep these. Holly, I will absolutely show you. So I use them for tags. That's one thing I do. So for this one right here, I'm going to show you how I make collage cluster. So the other thing, hold on. So I think you missed this part, Holly. So I also collage these, and they're just index cards. And what I love to do on these is just take and make little fabric tabs over the tops of them. So you can just take something like this. Where's my stapler? Staple it on. And then what I will do, it's my little embellishment box here. Okay, I've got things flying everywhere. So hang on tight here for just a second to get this organized. Okay. Then I have this embellishment box that I keep on my desk. And so I will take this. And I can take and add, if I was, you know, doing something vintage, I can take and add this embellishment on there. And I now have a journaling card. So that's another thing you can do. So that's a quick idea. A lot of times I will take these bases and I will, this one's still a little bit wet. Cut a strip off of here. Okay, so I will use these as my cluster my cluster bases. So you can actually make another embellishment out of these. So you just take, and this is still a little wet because unfortunately these glue sticks that I'm using are not what I normally use, and they're a little damp, more damp than my typical ones. So I'll take this, use this as my base, and let me just get in here. Let me just get in here. And then I will start digging into my embellishments, and I'll also make some of these up too. Now, this is another trick. I buy neutral colors all the time. Why? Because you can turn them into whatever you want. So the other thing you can do is I take this medallion stencil, put it right over top, and I will stencil right onto my flower to give it some texture. So look at the difference. So let me grab one that's, so that's another thing. I get a lot of whites and creams because there's a lot that you can do with it if you stick with whites and creams, because you buy it, you can spray it, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Okay, so let me show you here. Merry Christmas, Mitzi. Okay, look at the difference between the two flowers on here. So there's definitely a difference. You can create a simple embellishment. And this is my must use it up quickly embellishment bin, which is why you guys have been seeing me dig in this, because I want to get rid of it. It's too big. So give me just a second. Oh, you know what? Let's use a word. Let's use a word. Let's use a word. So I'm going to take this, use my stapler, and there we go. And it still has room for other things. You know, if I wanted to add something like this, if I want to keep it simple, but sorry guys, I told you my office is a mess. I'm going to add just a little bit of color because I have pink here. Bring my light back in. Okay. I'm just going to take and pull this pink out here, and I'm going to add just 3 little dots. And I can add 3 little dots up here. And we have just created another embellishment. So what do you think? Yeah, so you can do a lot of things. The other thing, if you guys have Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, okay, that's another thing that I will do with these. So, I got a mess on my desk here. Hang on. Hang on. Get this little organized. Okay, let's use this piece. All right, so I'm going to take my stencil. I'll lay my stencil on here. I'm going to go grab my Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. I apologize, guys, but this is not my original plan. But that's why I love all of you, because you challenge me while we're online and we're live. All right. So I grab my Glimmer Mist. Um, let's see. I think I want to use, this aqua. Okay, so we're going to use this aqua. And we're going to do a 2-for-1 here. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of my cards that I've already collaged. We're going to grab this one. We're going to do a 2-for-1. And actually, we're going to do a 3-for-1. I do this sometimes. So I'm going to add this right here. This might overspray a little more than I want it to. So, okay. So what I've done, I don't know if you guys can see this, is I've lined up this flower, stencil of the flower in the center of my flower. So I'm holding that down. I'm lining up my other embellishment piece here in this middle part where I really want this to be. I have my tattered angels, glimmer mist, excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to spray here. Oh, I think it's, uh-oh, this one clogged. Haven't used this one in a while. Oh, darn it. See, I got all excited. All excited. Yep, it was definitely clogged. All right. Hang on, let me wipe this up here. All right. Every time I play with these, you guys, I get full of mess. So, all right, so I'm holding my stencil down. Sprayed there. Yep, see, I got my thumb. I'm going to grab my card to do my overspray. So there's my card. Did not do a great job on my flower because it all came out at once. We'll do another one. Now I'm going to take this and I don't want to waste my tattered angels, so I'm going to lay it down. And we're going to use this mop-up page now. If you don't have tattered angels glimmer mist, you can make your own. All right, guys. See, exactly. I told you every time I use that one, it becomes a mess. Let's see if I have my, grab a baby wipe. All right. Darn it. I should have used a lighter color. Oh, well. That's all right. You guys are just going to have to be stuck with my burgundy or my teal finger. All right. So let's, I want to try another flower though, and I want to use a little bit lighter color. So let me grab my flowers again. Where did I put them? We're going to let this dry anyway. Flowers, where did you go? Good there. All right, we're going to try it again. But we're going to try it a little bit lighter this time. Try this one. We're going to use the sunshine. I'll take another one of these cards, lay it right over the top, and give it some more mixed media. And I know you can't see it very well. It's gold, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's all shiny, sparkly. So that's just another gorgeous card. And you can see this flower does have some texture to it. So we'll let that lay. I'm going to go ahead and go back over to my page. I don't know where it was. That's all right. We'll do it right here. I'm going to mop up my, because I don't like to waste Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and I'll use this mop up page for something else. So that's another way that I use these. Now, this was way darker than I thought it would be. So I just added some gold to kind of lighten it up. And we're going to have to, I wish you could see it. It's beautiful. We're going to kind of let this dry a little bit, and then we're going to work with some more. So kind of set this to the side. I'm not loving that, so I'm going to let that one set to the side, but I am going to use this one. It's almost dry. So let me grab some more of this. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to make another one of these. Oops. Oh, not a problem. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do, is just teach. If you're new to my channel, I'm actually a principal, but I used to teach, and this is my opportunity to teach, is my YouTube channel. I teach every day, just in a different way, but I really do miss teaching a lot. So it's one of the reasons why I do my YouTube channel. All right. So for this one, I love these raggedy edges. And this would be a great side tuck or bottom tuck. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to take my stapler, and I'm going to staple that like that. And then I can also add something on top if I wanted to. Now, if I don't want it to stick up, and I get this a lot, people are like, I don't want to put a button there. I don't want to put something in there because I don't want it to stick up. I will just take a circle punch, and I will use my circle punch to create a center for flowers. And I'm covering up, I'm able to cover up my staple if I want. And from there, I can even, still keeping it pretty flat, add some bling. And there we go. As simple as that. And it's beautiful. The glimmer mist, I know you can't see it, but the gold glimmer mist is just gorgeous. You can kind of ruffle up those flowers a little bit. So that's something else you can do. this one's starting to get dry, so we'll work with that in a little bit. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to keep tearing. Sometimes I will just sew on it too, because you can also do that. Now you can still use this and do some more layering. So the layering, excuse me. Okay, so let's use one of these cards, and we're going to add this to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to do some inking. So I'm just going to ink the edges of this. So I challenge you in 2020 to get those darn scraps out and use them. Stop keeping them. Let's do a 10-minute a day challenge to build up our embellishment stash. Oh, Rachel, you should have ripped this down a little bit. I know you were all yelling at me, weren't you, on the other end? Like, why aren't you tearing that down a little bit? Okay. The other thing is I really like to keep these fairly flat. All right, so how do I want this? I really want to keep those. So we're going to glue this here. All right, so we've glued that down. And a lot of times, you guys, I'll just leave these bases as is. I won't decorate them. I won't decorate them. I'll just leave them like this in my bin. But the other thing I like to do, and I don't do it enough, I don't use my stamps enough. I don't know about you guys, but I do not use my stamps enough. In fact, here is a brand new Tim Holtz set that has never been opened. So I see this little yep, look at this, brand new, never used them. That's okay, we're going to use this one today. It says, time is a companion that goes with us on journeys. It reminds us to cherish each moment because it will never come again. What we leave behind is not as important as how we have lived. And that is going to get stamped right here. All right. I'm going to get my black ink out. And I'm going to warn you right now, I'm not a good stamper. It's not my forte. So I will do the best I can. Let's just practice one first. Oh, yeah, that's all right. Okay. And there we go. Now, I could take a flower if I wanted and add it to the bottom. I can do a lot of different things. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave this because I'm not sure which journal I'm going to put it in. And so if I had a piece, so let's just say I'm working with something, let's say I'm working with a hummingbird journal and I want to use this piece, I would just ink around this little hummingbird. and I would add him on there. Now, if I don't, you know, maybe I don't do a hummingbird journal. Maybe, let's see here. This is such a mess. Maybe I want to add a vintage piece to it. So I could add a vintage piece to it. Oh, this is, you can't see it very good on there. There we go. Maybe I'm doing a coffee journal and I really want that saying on there, but I want something that's coffee themed. So I could take one of my coffee pieces and put that on there. So look at how many different ways you can take this one base and you can change it up. So all I did is have a quote on there and just a collaged piece. And now I'm changing it up based on whichever little embellishment I add to this corner. I mean, I just think those are so cute. And I think that you can do so much with them. You know, I could just simply put something like this on and I could staple it right there and leave that. And that creates a whole different look as well. So that's what I do with them. And that's why I keep, look at, here's just a little butterfly that takes a totally different look as well. So that's why I keep so many of them. And that's why I constantly keep bringing these back to you guys. And I keep saying to you, you know, get those scraps out, start building, start creating some bases. You know what? I might sit here and if this is my challenge night, and okay, so all I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to get myself, you know, I'll come into my office and I will, I don't know what I did with those. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've totally trashed my desk in a short amount of time here. Well, I don't have any more of those, I don't think, on my desk. But let's just say tonight I'm going to make, let's pretend that these right here are this. And what I'll do is I'll grab a stack of them and I'll say, okay, so tonight my goal is to make 10 of these. Oh, here they are right here. Oh, I knew I had them. So what I will do is I will get 10 of these and I will literally count them out. You know, let's say there's 10 here. And then what I do is then I'll just simply take these to my desk. I'll take this one stamp and I'm going to stamp this same quote on all 10 of them. And then I get my collage paper and I just start ripping these. And I'm like, bam, bam, bam. And pretty soon, within 20 minutes, I've got 10 embellishments. Then I take those embellishments, I let them dry, and I just rubber band them. Then I have 10 of these. So just think about if you had 10 of these exact ones. Yes, they have the same quote on them, but the collage piece is different on each one. So they're all different. Remember, I could take this and use this on one of them. Now it's dark and you're like, oh, Rachel, how are you going to do that? Well, let's do it. Okay. Let's just go ahead and do it with this one. So I'm going to tear this edge because I like this more of a rough edge. If I can get my fingers to work, we'll be all set. Okay, so I've got this rough edge. Here we are. You know, we're going to make these. We're going to have them all different. And that's all I'm going to focus on. That's how I set goals, you guys. That's how I get things done. And so I might say to myself, Monday night, I'm going to make 10. I'm going to make 10 of these. And Wednesday night, I'm going to all right, so there we go. Now, you can't see. I'm not going to be able to use the black ink on that. So, real simple. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm going to go into my messy, scrappy bag. And I love to pull book pages that have a lot of white space on the bottom of them. So I will show you one. So this is a perfect example. I don't love this image, and this is not something that I would use. But look at how much room is on the edge. All I have to do is take this, stamp it, tear it, and I'm now repurposing this book page, and I'm going to tear it very close to the words, because I'm going to put it over to tone down, to tone down that Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. We're going to add it right over top. And I could have inked around that if I wanted to. But here's the same quote, the same collage paper, and we end up with two different ones. And this one, because there's so much color on it, this would be beautiful with just one of these plain colored flowers on it. Or you could simply do something else. Now, what else could I do with this? Okay, so I don't want to do another one of those. You're like, okay, Rachel, I've had enough of that. You can take these same things. I might do another night and go and say to myself, okay, I have a ton of these. So I'm going to make 10 of them tonight, and I'm going to just add my collage pieces to these. And I've now, this one's a little too big. Let me grab something like this. Okay, so I could just go and I can just glue these on. And now I've got tucks again. So I've made 10 tucks that are already collaged. All I have to do is glue these into my journal when I'm ready. So another way to use up those scraps. So, you know, you really need to think about, how can I do it? How can I efficiently do it? And I think maybe, just maybe, we need to do a scrap challenge. Using up those scraps, maybe we should do a challenge. What do you guys think? Maybe we could do a 30-minute a day challenge or something like that. If you're anything like me and have all of these that you really want to use up. Yeah, and then you build your stash, and then you, so let me kind of show you. I don't have any real fancy way of storing my pieces, but let me show you what I do. I just decided to clean this out. I'm going to fill my shop up with these cluster packs with some things for you guys to do on your own. So those will be coming soon. But this is literally how I store these, and I wait until they get full to the top. So look, here's another one that I made. And this is the same card. So if my goal is to do these cards, I will literally just pile them up and just put them in this bin. So I have them. So here, and this is just a file folder. So these are little mini tags from collage papers. Here's my clusters here. So let me show you my real sophisticated way of storing these. So like I would put those in the front. I would put these here. And like I consider this a cluster. So look, I just throw them in like that. And I keep, you know, my little tags would go in there. And there you go. And then I also make out of scrap. Merry Christmas. I also make these adorable little paperclip embellishments out of scrap pages too. So we'll do one of these scrap busters as well. Look at these. These are so cool. And then you can hook these on your journal or hook these on a tag. And these are all out of scraps. So I hope that was helpful to you. I hope I didn't bore you on Christmas Day or Boxing Day or whatever day it is for you. But this is kind of how I do it. The other thing I make sometimes are tiles out of them. So this one I put a postage stamp on, but these are just pieces of chipboard that are collaged, and then I just put something on it, and then I put glossy accents over it, and it makes a tile. So those are fun. In fact, I need to do some more tiles because look, I only have 2 tiles left. And then I just hook them on a paper clip and those hang off of things. So those are really cute. Oh, sorry. So those are tiles. So those are fun to make, and we could do some of those if you guys are interested in those. And then I love to make, these are these little mini tags that I also hang off, and I just put words on them. And I'll hang them off. It can actually, sometimes I'll double hang them off of a tag, so we'll have a double tag. And you can see I'm really low on those, but look at this one I collaged with old envelopes. It was all envelopes and things like that, so that was fun. But those are things I do with my collage papers. I make covers for journals. Let me show you a couple of the covers I have here. Oh my gosh, what a mess. What a mess. Am I boring you guys yet? All right, let me show you what else I do. So I will also make covers out of them. I will take the collage pieces and put them on envelopes. So this is a collaged envelope, which I somehow stuck together. I'm not sure how that happened. So I noticed that the other day. So sometimes I'll put the collage pieces on envelopes. I will also take them and make them into journal covers. So I will take the full collage piece and I will put a piece of cardstock on the back and I will sew around it. And I do sew on my spine. You don't have to do that, but I do that. And so now I've got covers for journals. So you can see here, these are all my collage papers. Now, what do I do with these? Sometimes I use them for journals. Sometimes I use them for Happy Mail. I'll put pockets in them and I'll stick ephemera in them and I'll and I'll send this to you guys. So those are things that I do with them. Here's another one. This one has scrapbook pages and some of my jelly print pages. This one's just all scrapbook pages and some book pages. I had a bunch of little pieces from this collection and I was like, you know what? They're so pretty. And what good do they do if they're just sitting in a bag? So that's what I do a lot of times. And this is something, so I might make one cover. If I make one cover a night, this was about I don't know, a month or 2 ago. And so my goal is to make one collage paper a day, an evening. So I ended up by the end of the week making 4 covers, and on the 5th day, so they were all dry, on that 5th day, I then sewed around them all. So I mean, look, I was able to get this done, and I did these in probably, I don't know, if you added it up over the whole time, maybe an hour and a half time, but look, I have 4 covers waiting to be used. And then I also had this piece of paper that I loved, and so I just grabbed a piece of cardstock and zipped this around. So I have 5 covers here just waiting to be used. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that I have inspired you to get those scraps out. For the rest of 2019, you're going to be seeing scrap only because my goal, I will show you my box if I can make enough room on here to do that. Bring it up here. My box has gotten out of control So I cannot go into 2020. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes get to the point where I'm just like, see, and then I could also do the backs of these. That's why I saved this, because no, this is not a picture that I would use, but I can stamp on the back of all of this. It's gotten so out of control that I sometimes think about just throwing the whole thing away and starting over. Okay, so, oh, you can't see it very well. So, yeah. So this is my box. You can see it's a pretty decent sized box, and it is full of these Ziploc bags. And so this has to be used. And at one point, I literally could not even, this is how much of a dent I've made just in the last 2 weeks. Now, some of these things are not going to go away. You know, I'm not going to be able to get rid of everything. But the goal is to use up as much as I possibly can. And they're separated. Like these are strips that I've already made. We did those earlier this year. Whoops. We did these earlier this year. So those are already made embellishments that are in here. Here's some fussy cutting pages. So this is what I would take with me when I travel. Here's some that we made not too long ago. So, I mean, it's not all things that have to be used up, but it's getting pretty close. We're going to do something with all these security envelopes soon. We'll have to do another tutorial on that. So I hope that was helpful. I apologize for you seeing my messy office. It will be cleaned. That's my goal tomorrow, is to get up and clean that and get that more organized so I'm ready for the new year. Your box seems to grow. Absolutely. That's what happens to mine. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I feel like I never get anything done. And then every time I make a journal, oh, there's another piece, you know? So yeah. So then what I do, oh, you guys can kind of see this now that it's dry. Can you see that beautiful gold? Oh my gosh, I love that. And if I wanted to, I could just round the edges and just be done and use that as a card. So then what I will do is I go and grab my rubber bands and I just pile these up. I make sure I have all of these. And I'll rubber band these up. And then I'll take, oops, missed one. And then I take all my tags. You are so welcome. I'm glad it is helpful. Sometimes I get on here and you all are so quiet. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm boring them to death or if they're like rolling their eyes on the other end. So I appreciate when you engage. If you liked this video, please do give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And then I'll just put them like this. And then I just pile them all up. And, you know, when I get a stack, you know, I like to get about 1.5 inch stack of these done. And then I quit making these. I don't make these anymore, you know, and then I'll get a big thick stack of these. And a lot of times if I get too many or I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to do something, I'll throw these in Happy Mail. People love these. So a lot of times I'll do that. And so then I get, you know, I made 100 of these clusters. And so, you know, I'm going to be selling some kits on my Etsy shop with the inventory tags in some of the cards that I've already inked them up for you. So you just have to add to the front of them and just build. But, you know, even if you didn't want to purchase this, you wanted to create a little kit for Happy Mail to send to somebody, you know, wouldn't this be fun to get in the mail? Wouldn't that be fun to just be able to play with a little kit? So a lot of times that's what I'll do with them as well. So I made last week when I was on, I made 100 clusters in 2 hours. 100 clusters out of scraps in 2 hours. Like that's, to me, I think that's amazing. And I think people are, excuse me, I have to get a drink. You know, but you can do it when you set your mind to doing one thing. For me, to make embellishments, and I don't just do that all the time. I mean, I don't, a lot of times I am still making embellishments when I'm making kits, or making up my journals. But how nice is it to just go ahead and have these? So the other thing I'll do, you guys, I want to show you real quick, and then I will get off because you are probably done with me. A lot of times I'll just create basic bases, and I'll have a whole pile of those too, where I won't actually, I will not actually put the embellishment on them. So I'll have a whole stack of those that are just ready to go. And so, you know, the other thing I'll do sometimes, like these are all die cut. So if I have my Sizzix machine out to do something, let's say I'm working on a project, I don't just, I don't know. I can't just do one thing. Like I feel like if I've got it out, I want to use it. And so then I'll just cut some additional pieces out. So these are just bases that I will leave in here that will be ready to go. So I'm going to add this. This is a different color music. I know there's music on here, but this is a different color. And I can take these little die cut tickets that I used on something else. Oh, fingers aren't working. Sorry, guys. Look at these. So now I just simply take, I'm going to stagger those. And now I've created a whole nother embellishment. If I'm ready, if I was getting ready to put this on a journal and I wanted to do something vintage, I could just simply add something like that. It's kind of big. Get something a little smaller. Oh, come on. Look, here's my little Tim Holtz people. Look, I could just add that. Isn't that cute? Oops. I could just glue that over my staple, and that's done. But look, I can leave those in there, and I can change the look. Again, look at how many different looks I can get. Okay, I can do Tim Holtz. Oh, that's not really my style this time. You know what? I'm doing a coffee journal, so I have this bag of coffee. I can add that on there. I can turn it, make the tickets on the top. That's a totally different embellishment. You know, I'm really not feeling that. I'm going to do a floral journal. You know what? I'm going to take one of these tabs. I also always have a big bag of tabs. I'm going to do a floral journal. Nah, I wouldn't put that on that one, but I could put it on this one. Could just simply come on here and put a tab on here and create another look. And then put a little flower there. Let's see. You know, I could add something like this. I could grunge that up a little bit. I could take a vintage, this is kind of big. This is just a vintage magazine cutting, and I could add that if it was big enough. So that's what I keep all of these for. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. I could add something like that. So that's just simple. And so a lot of times I'll have 20 or 30 of them that are just plain. There's nothing on them. So that, okay, I've gone through my ones that are already embellished. I'm just not feeling it. Not feeling any of those. So I'll just make up my own. I could just simply take and put this butterfly on it. Look at how pretty that would be. So I'm taking the same piece and I'm just making those embellishments. So, grab yourself a little dish. This is a dish from Lunch Meat, and that's kind of what I work from, and I just start filling. You absolutely do have a unique piece, and you're not going to have, it's not something you can buy from the store, which is what I love. I don't like to have something that someone else has. And probably that's because I consider myself an artist. And so if I can make it or make something similar or better, why would I go and buy something else? And that's kind of how I look at it. So for me, I'm very much someone who buys little kits like this because I can put my own spin on it rather than going and buying. Yeah, do I have some of Tim Holtz stuff? I do. I love it. I think Tim Holtz makes some amazing pieces. But, look, I can take this foreign paper and I can make my own embellishment. And that's not something Tim Holtz can make for me. So I want you guys to kind of think about that. Use up what you have, really get creative. We're starting a new season this year. And what is it? How are you going to use items up in this new season? And sometimes with the book pages, I will peek out just a little bit of color, not a lot, just a little tiny bit of color to break that up. And then these are all flimsy papers. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a piece of cardstock behind it just for stability. And I'm throwing that in there. So another base that's done. And I make them all sizes. I don't throw away these little tiny pieces because they make great little embellishments too. Sometimes you only need a little tiny embellishment. So, don't throw those away. And look, you can make them a completely different look on the cluster. And these little tiny pieces, they're great to just sneak in there too. So I'll just grab that, go like that. There you go. And just in this time, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So see, that's simple. You could sit down and you could do a 20-minute challenge and you could do 10 of them without a problem. Just don't think about it. Just rip, gather, and staple. Rip, gather, and staple. The rest will come together for you. You don't have to think. We could use up the rest of these. So I'm just grabbing these. Choose this green one. My fingers were working a little better. I could I thought I had another piece here. Maybe I didn't. this behind it for stability. Yeah, this is not a, that's why I love this project. I'm a big overthinker too, but this will force you to not overthink. You know, you will have to work quickly. Set a timer. If you are really struggling, set a timer. Make yourself, force yourself to do that challenge. Force yourself to get outside of your comfort zone and just make these. And you know what? If you don't love them, that's fine. Throw them in the bin anyway. And if you don't use them, my other rule is if I don't use them in 6 months, well, really for me, it's 3 months. If I don't use them in 3 months, then I tear them apart or I give them to somebody else or but I don't leave them. I don't hang on to them for a year. I don't hang on to them for, you know, if I can't use them in that time period, then I can tear it apart. And these are simple to tear apart. You just pull the staple out and, or at the end of the day, throw it away. It was just scraps. I mean, you don't have to feel like you're tied to using every single piece of paper. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope you will think about getting those scraps out, using those scraps. Stop hoarding them. If you're like me, stop hoarding them. Mitzi, I promise they'll turn out cool. They really will. They really will. So the other thing you can do with these, like, because I was hiding a lot of them, I could just tear those up. And that way I can use those more often. So, and see, I'm just playing with what I have here in front of me. So we've pretty much used up every piece that I have in front of me. I'm gonna grab this piece. Add that on there. We're gonna get these little music pages on here that I have left. I mean, we're running out of pieces, guys. Running out of pieces. I'm gonna tuck this little guy in here. I do need something to kind of sturdy up my back piece, so we'll grab a piece of this. I don't mind that sticking out even a little bit. And there we go. So that's it. We've used up all those pages that I had on my desk to start tonight. And it's been a little over an hour and 40 minutes. But just in this short time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We easily could have done 10 in 20 minutes. So, all right. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope everybody has a great day tomorrow. I'll be cleaning my studio and planning to start bringing you guys some more videos to use up those scraps. And I'm also looking forward to doing a couple of releases on some new things that I'm going to be adding to my Etsy store, as well as this brand new concept of painting and making your own vision board. So we're going to talk about that later this week as well. Everybody have a great evening. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe below if you haven't subscribed. And I appreciate everybody. Holly, I will put it in the description box. I will put it in the description box for you. So have a great evening, everybody. And this video will be posted. And for those of you who are watching the replay, thank you very much for replaying. Please leave me a comment and I'll be happy to get back with you. Bye, everybody.